Hello, Tony. Welcome to Tangerine, brought to you by Steam Voice Chat. Um,
Yes, we are on Steam because we have packets being lost on Discord for
yeah,
other
Discord's
reasons. We are still
broken for some
streaming though.
reason, and you're like, "Oh, Steam Voice Chat works," and I was like, "I haven't used Steam Voice Chat in a long time. Let's try it out." And
No,
like, why is
yeah,
Steam Voice Chat so good now? What the hell happened?
yeah, I don't know. There's some like niceties that are missing, but yeah, like in terms of it just working and sounding good. It's got like noise cancellation, like suppression, like enabled as well by default.
Yeah, and there's volume
So
sliders for other people, which is one of my
yeah,
biggest
yeah,
features I need to have when I'm talking to multiple
yeah,
people, especially.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Very easy to get different noise levels on that.
But yeah, I this is the Steam VR Fest they just did, and I played 4 VR demos, and we are starting with the one that I cannot play the music for, the sound for, because I was streaming it to you, and you were like, "Oh, this is very copyrighted," and I was like, "Yep."
Yeah.
So it seems like they have like a mix of copyrighted music that they've licensed. Then they have a some like DLC music where they've done collaborations with other video games to have their music in the game. And then there's also a workshop as well where you can download user generated content. Like the first thing I noticed was like, oh, Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes is there. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's the number
Yeah,
one
yeah.
drum songs you want to play, right? I
I
guess it's
still find
on.
it weird.
Go on.
Does it look killing demons? Is that I think so you can kind of see now, like instead of like
Yeah,
hitting
so it's not
beats on a
like
Guitar Hero
you're
or
yeah, it's not like the beats.
cubes.
You're trying to kill demons by hitting the symbols. Again, I'm recording on VR. I think it only records it's recording my right eye at the moment. Usually it records your dominant eye, but how you know your VR non-VRness is going to be recorded is always like a coin flip when it comes to
It,
recording the application itself.
I swear
Um,
every single game is different.
I mean,
How
Half-Life
it
Alex is
records
the
it.
is the gold standard because it's
Yeah,
actually
yeah, absolutely.
thinks about it, but I don't know. Apparently, Oculus Link is pretty good for recording VR stuff.
Okay.
It just gives you the best like way of actually putting your eyes together to give you like a clear spectator image.
So actually, yeah, so actually combines it for you
Yeah,
algorithmically.
I
Okay.
think there might be a way to do it in Steam Link as well. I've been testing out Steam Link. I haven't talked about that actually. Um, But yeah, so not only was the release of this Steam Fest, they actually released the official Steam Link app for the Oculus Quest
Yeah.
devices. So I've been using, sorry, the Meta Quest devices, and yeah, I tested it out, and I think it's pretty good. But other than it being native to Steam, I don't have a lot of use for it, given that I already have Virtual Desktop, and Virtual Desktop is already easy to use and gives you access to much more advanced features like AV1 encode decode and
Yeah,
um,
that's huge.
way more features like super sampling and stuff like that. Although the image quality on Steam Link and the latency is pretty good, and they do give you um, like a some advanced options. There's like basically you get put into like an easy mode, and then there's a button you can press to go, I would like more options, please, and then you get to see more.
I just
Um,
like the option slide the difficulty, just like
well, you
it just
can.
shows
I
how
think
many
it just
sliders you want to
shows in
see.
like the native resolution of your panel, but you can always turn it up for like what is it called, like super sampling,
So, yeah,
um, depending on how beefy your PC is. And then it seems to like how foveated rendering works, um, where it
yeah,
would just blur
for-
the area that you're looking at. It has that,
yeah.
but it does this by default, and it does it really heavily. I think it's way too heavy-handed by default because what it does is it basically blurs everything that's not in your immediate peripheral vision. So if you look to the corners of the screen without turning your
Okay.
head, it actually makes it look super blurry. So I basically, if you turn that setting up, it gets rid of that effect. Like I could see where they've been testing this. Like this would work very well on the Meta Quest Pro, which is supported. But if you're on
Yeah,
a non-eye tracked headset like Quest 2 or a Quest 3, then I'd recommend just turning this down because I mean, it's going to be saving you, performance, but it was immediately noticeable. Like I'm as soon as I plugged the thing in, I plugged the thing in. As soon as I loaded the thing up, I didn't have to plug anything in. I'm wirelessly streaming it. As soon as I loaded the thing up, I noticed it. I was like, why is it so blurry? And then I was like, wait, it's only blurry at the edges of the screen. What is going on? This is so weird. Because I'm so used to just using the the virtual desktop without that effect turned on. So yeah, I think it's just very telling that Valve is releasing this software to wirelessly stream to a headset and potentially have foveated rendering. And I'm just like, yeah, they seem to be ramping up for some sort of standalone headset that's going to have foveated rendering. I feel like it's coming in the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, that's the only disclaimer that I will give. Oh, I'm going on a drum solo, banging out the drums. Oh, I haven't talked about Drums Rock. Drums Rock is actually super fun. I actually really like this game. I was surprised how good it was. Also, another cool thing, you can get like bonus score if you throw up your drumsticks, catch them, and then hit the thing. So there's actually like a skill to showing off, I guess. Like I'm usually talking about like how every single VR game that comes out is a rhythm game, and we don't need more rhythm games. But I'm going to say it, Tony. I like this rhythm game, and I think it deserves its own spot as a VR rhythm game. It is distinct enough from other games. It's distinct enough from other drumming games that I've played in VR. Like I was playing Ragnarok recently, and that is like very different types of rock music. So I can't play any of their music, but this is more like The Offspring and Ram Jam and stuff like that. And there's even like Undertale DLC and stuff like that. But yeah, really, really cool to see. Yeah. So I think like there is space for this different type of music in the VR space. I mean, it is a quality VR game, which you don't see too many of those these days. And I think it came out earlier this year because I was assuming most of the stuff I'm going to be downloading would be stuff that would be coming out like later this year or the start of next year. But this is a game that's actually already out, so there's actually quite a depth of songs and DLC already for you to try. And I thought this game was really fun. It makes me actually want to
still think
pick
the
it up.
Meteor should be used, but
I was also playing this entirely wirelessly. Oh yeah, that's something I said. I was like, immediately I stood up to play this, and I was like, it was like, oh, the drums are over here. Wait, I need to sit down because I'm playing a fucking drum kit. I'm just always trying to stand up to play things I shouldn't be standing up to play. Like I like to try and drive standing up in VR for some reason.
I think that's the funniest, but yeah.
I think initially it was weird, like looking at the demons ahead instead of looking at the drums when you're hitting at them. But I guess it's teaching you how to hit the drums rather than to hit the drums without needing to look at them, sort of thing. Like eventually, it was weird at first, but eventually I actually got it, and I thought it was quite a good system. I love these fills as well, where you do the drum roll.
the money bag. Yeah.
Oh, that's one thing I wanted to mention. To hold, because you have to pull the sticks out and hold them, but there's no like, at least not what I could figure out from playing the demo. I didn't go like into the options menu and check, but to keep drumming, you have to hold down the grip button the entire time, or you'll drop the drumsticks and you can't drum. And it was really starting to wane on my hands. Yeah. Like I think, because I think the idea is that you can like quickly throw up your drumsticks and catch them, and I guess the idea is if you were drumming in real life, you would hold the drumsticks the entire time. But it's a bit different to hold down a grip button the entire time and drum.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there is an option,
why not make it a drop button instead of a hold button? As I would maybe suggest, or a throw button.
Yeah, I mean you could go for a toggle, right? I mean I didn't go. Yeah. I just played the quick demo, and then it was like the demo's over, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to move on to something else. So I did, and
yeah, I mean, it was pretty good.
Next up, Tony, we have Pin City, which is, I looked at this and I was like, it's bowling in VR, and I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. Even if it's fun for 2 minutes, I will have fun playing bowling in VR, and yep. it's a game that's fun for about 2 minutes, and then you're like, well, let's go and do something else.
It's not like that's like real bowling, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Well, I think bowling in real life for me is really fun until you realize that you have to sit and watch the other people bowl, and then you're like, oh man,
Right.
I now have to. Not only do I have to play an entire bowling game, I now have to watch 3 other people play a bowling game now, and it's
Yeah.
just like, oh
I
god, I
end
didn't
up.
realize how much of a time commitment this was.
Well, I also like there's like time at the start of it as well, like to get like change your shoes. And then it's like okay, then you're here, and then I find it finding myself I just want to talk to people like in the downtime, and I forget it's my turn. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we got time left. Let's do another game after. I'm like, I'm done after one game normally. I like bowling, but yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is going to be annoying is there's not really a great way to do weight in VR. So immediately it just
Yeah.
feels super strange to be throwing a bowling ball in VR.
Is it more like Wii Sports bowling then,
Yeah, but I would say
but more precise?
maybe I prefer Wii Sports bowling. I don't know. Like Wii Sports bowling, you were very much on a track, but it was, I don't know. This just feels like you're throwing a piece of paper. It has that sort of feeling where it's
Yeah.
like I have no idea how hard to throw this. Like I have no feedback on it. This is something where you would
Yeah.
need like some sort of like haptic gloves where you get like force
Yeah.
feedback based on your grip and stuff like that.
And have like attach your body to be able to get right. I don't know. I don't know how you would do that, but I could see that in the
I think
future for sure. And
I think the way like Half-Life Alex did it is like when you picked up heavy objects, it would like ignore their inertia or something like that. I can't remember the exact way, but they actually found a way to make
makes it
heavy
look-
objects feel heavier than they actually like. You
I
were
assume it's
required to use 2 hands, and there's lots of complicated physics and maths that go into this sort of stuff.
So-
But
What you're saying is you want a bowling ball that's so big you need to use 2 hands.
oh yeah, I want the Chungus bowling ball.
That'd be hilarious. Like instead of like guardrails, you just have a giant ball.
Because I can see perfectly what I'm looking at, but I didn't realize it's just recording like one fucking eye. So half the time you're going to be like, what is he looking at? And it's going to be like nothing. At least my mouse is not on the screen. I don't think I have a single game where my mouse is on the screen.
There's always something wrong, and there's always sometimes
I
it's
could-
the mouse.
I
Sometimes
could,
it's the game.
speaking of testing out Steam Link, I could actually test the Oculus casting thing. Because apparently the Oculus casting thing's quite good.
yeah.
I showed that to you.
Yeah.
Playing on the Oculus Quest, because you can just cast it to a website and then stream or record that. But they've actually updated it to record like the entire screen, not just like.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so it's actually like potentially a very good way to record stuff.
And they're stitching it together to like back to a 2D or proper scale, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I might try that out if stuff keeps getting recorded in one eye. Depends what it looks like. I mean, because at the moment I'm playing through virtual desktop from my PC, and then I'm just OBS capturing the output window of the actual application. But the actual how the application looks is different to how I see it in VR because it's 2 images, and a lot of the time devs will just not bother stitching those back together for a 2D viewer.
I assume it's a pain in the ass. I don't know. Or it's not worth to me, or not really think about it.
I think I just get bored and just start throwing like hot dogs down the aisles.
I think we talked about it before. It's like I feel like sharing a VR experience is actually super important to get other people into VR, because like a lot of the time, like you can't all be playing VR, or only one person has VR.
Oh, these real fake
I
bowling
think it
balls.
should be something you focus on. Yeah, there's no people, but you can't throw it back and everyone starts jumps in the air and spins around.
Oh, that was a great. All right, there's not drinkable juice, but there is eatable things. I was like, yeet.
Okay.
You always have to test out the physics of stuff. You can eat the
It
corn
would be
dogs.
crazy
You
if
can eat
like,
the corn dogs.
You drink something in VR and you drink something in real life. That'd be so weird.
At the same,
Like time it, yeah. Someone else times it for you.
You play a VR game in the snow and you turn the air conditioning all the way up.
Okay.
Confirmed you cannot eat the burger in this bowling game, but you can throw it down the alley. and people won't shout at you. Oh, I tried to walk over the line on purpose to see if it was possible. I was so close to getting a strike there. But yeah, this is just a demo. This
That's
doesn't
so
have a full.
bouncy.
It doesn't have a full game yet, but I don't know. Yeah, not like a. It feels like a tech demo.
Yeah, some more creature comforts, maybe more.
Right, what we got here?
I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. So
I don't know,
here we
yeah.
have Escape Simulator VR, and I could not get this to work properly on my MetaQuest 3. Like, the footage will probably look fine for you, but it's going to be really hard to describe what was going wrong. Hang on, I'll see if I can find what was, because I went on the Steam forums for this game, and everyone with the MetaQuest 3 was just talking about the same issue. Do you see how super stretched and warped the image
Oh my,
looks?
yeah, that's not.
So the
You're seeing a
starter
similar thing as
yeah,
well.
so the starter menu is fine, and then I see my character normally, but when I load into a room, my vision, it's like I'm seeing both eyes, but they've like overlapped them almost. They're not actually doing it correctly. And when you
Right,
move around, it gets
interesting.
worse. I don't know. Somebody
It just
replied.
looked really tall.
So somebody replied here and was like, "Oh, it's the Quest 3. It does it with other games. It's really problematic, and it's, you just need to reboot the device and redo your Guardian space, and it fixes it." So I was like, okay, maybe it's a MetaQuest 3 problem. So I'm like, okay, I'll restart the device. Didn't do anything. I'll try a different game running on, because I was like, I'll try the benchmark. So I load up Half-Life Alyx because I'm running this through virtual desktop, so it's not the Quest
Yeah,
3
yeah,
itself. So I load up Half-Life Alyx. It works flawlessly. I go, okay, I load up this game. It's still doing the same issue. I go, okay, I will try a game in the Unity engine. So I load up Ragnarok, which was the other drumming game I was playing. I load up Ragnarok
yeah,
and I see the Unreal Engine 4 logo, and I go, well, I guess I'm testing out Unreal Engine 4 games. And that was working perfectly. So I'm like, okay, well, I will literally download a Unity game from my. So I looked up one Job Simulator Simulator in Unity, like this game. I download Job Simulator VR. I load it up on the MetaQuest 3. It's working perfectly. I load up this
it's
game
okay.
and it's broken.
All right,
So I've
it's not.
loaded
It's the
up
game then.
3 different games on 3 different engines, and it's working flawlessly.
Yeah,
But as soon as I load into this game, it's broken. I load up Gorilla Tag on the headset. It's working perfectly. I load up the
yeah,
game on Steam Link instead of Virtual Desktop. Same issue. It's still broken.
yeah. Okay. I
So
think you sussed it out. I think it's the game
I tried to
with
get this game
MetaQuest.
to work, but it just wasn't working. I did my
Interesting.
testing.
Well, I assume it's completely unplayable in this state if you see it like this.
It was awful. I mean, I did
Yeah,
power through and do the tutorial, and initially it doesn't start with room scale VR, which I'm like, if you're playing a game like this, you want to be able to walk around the room. That's probably one of the biggest appeals of VR. It's
yeah,
still the game itself is very much a flat screen game converted to VR, and it shows with the interactions. Like, it controls very much like a mouse cursor turned into a VR controller. It's not like, oh, you can pick stuff up with your hands and move them around naturally, and
Oh,
it's sort
you
of
can't
like
like interrogate. Oh, okay.
you can pick stuff up and rotate it, but you kind of have to suck it in first and then look at it through your inventory. And even then, it
Yeah,
still
it's not just
feels
like
very much like it's going to click into a specific place like it would without the VR interaction.
right.
Um,
So it's not like a Half-Life Alyx where it's like you just pick up and
it's
oh,
not. It's not
look
like
at this.
they've rebuilt the game from the ground up for VR. It is very much just
Yeah,
they've taken the Unity version and just hit the flags to enable VR, and then spruced it up.
yeah, yeah.
So I was kind of disappointed overall with this, I will say, because not only was it broken for me and some other people, it seems like, I don't think overall it was a very good VR experience, despite the fact I quite enjoy playing the flat screen version, even though I have some problems with that. And you know what's the first thing I did? I jumped up and down because in the flat screen version, you can't jump. So I was like, you know what? Fuck you. You can't stop me from jumping in my physical play space. So I'm going to jump in VR because it really pisses me off when you play a game that
Yeah, I
you can't
know.
jump in. And I also find it hilarious that that's what they do to torture you in the Stanley Parable. They know you can't
Yeah.
jump and they make it like more of an annoying thing, which I think is kind of funny. But yeah, it's like I get it. Like maybe some more stuff would be broken if you had the ability to, jump. There'd be more clipping issues, and you could break out the map. But it's just like I was playing Power Wash Simulator a couple of days ago. I was doing the new free
Yeah.
Christmas update, so I was cleaning Santa's Grotto.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
as I was cleaning, I just started bunny hopping around for like an hour when I was talking to my friend. And it had nothing to do with the game, but it was just an enjoyable, relaxing thing to be able to just jump up and down.
Yeah. Well, it adds more motion and more, I guess, energy to the to what you're seeing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
want
like
I wanted to like Escape
jumping
Simulator
games.
VR, but in its current state, it's broken for me, and in its current state, it feels like a flat screen VR game, sort of shoddily ported to VR. So
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
let's move on to the next game, which we have Liminal Phase. This is not one I had really heard of at all, but it was recommended. Like it seemed like a lot of people liked it. I didn't know anything about it going into it. I guess based on the name Liminal Phase, it was like some sort of liminal horror game. And I was like, I don't know why this is heavily. Is it just going to be like one of those jump scare VR games? But I went into it just completely blind, and I was sort of pleasantly surprised by this game. It's sort
So
of.
was it what you expected then, or more than that?
It starts off more like a typical horror VR game, but it actually is more
Yeah.
like a 90s boomer shooter in VR with liminal horror elements to it, which is like interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
I was just waiting for like, a bunch of jump scares because I love the modeling they did for like this old school computer and like floppy disks and stuff like that.
Yeah. Look at the printer.
I look at the
That's
boxes over
beautiful.
here. I think if I go over to the boxes, I'll turn the clicker on.
You got the TV.
Yeah.
CRT.
But look here, you have like like a Monkey Island looking game. RoboCop, was it? Android Cop?
Android.
Jeepers Creepers too. Like they have like these classic
That's
big
good.
boxes and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. It's so blue.
That happened in the game, yeah. I think it's the idea of. Oh, I took my frying pan in case anyone tried to start shit with me. I mean, the obvious first thing you do in a VR game is just pick up physics objects and see how they interact. And I was like, well, if anyone jumps out at me here, I can just smack them over the head with a frying pan. Saucepan.
Go over full Scooby Doo, and then you look up and you didn't do anything. You have to run away.
Someone here. Yeah, if I skip ahead a little bit.
And the vibe is very, very good. Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it starts off like very creepy, and then it gets to a point where I'm like, oh, I'm being stalked by this guy, and I just start waving to him constantly. I'm like, hello. I'm like, are you gonna come talk to me? That's what happens with like these horror games sometimes, though, is if they rely on that trope too much of, I really wanted to take my my frying pan with me, but I couldn't. I guess it has that like SCP thing. I don't know if you know about that internet craze. Science contamination protection, where it's like the idea of people making creepypastas about science experiments and stuff like that. I used to that
Oh, I
classic
see.
the classic S logo on the
Oh
license
yeah,
plate.
the
The dual core Pentium, the joystick gaming.
There's no numpad on the keyboard though. That's interesting. Oh, now you made it
Oh,
blue.
blue screen of death.
No, I do miss the old blue screen death screen.
But then you
Not gonna
go
lie.
like into the computer where you have like these floppy disks to save and these music notes. Mutilation.
Is it weird to walk through items in VR?
Yeah, especially in pass through, because when I'm moving around my pass through, but I go outside my boundaries, and then it's
Yeah.
like I'm moving in my physical space, unmoved, right? And then it comes up with this red barrier that goes, "You can't go here because it's not in your barrier." That really throws me off. Hello, hello. Eventually, I'm just like, I got a little bit lost in the beginning. I wasn't really 100% sure where to go. Until I what did I figure out? Oh, you're crawling through some vents. I almost gave up on this because I was like, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be going.
Yeah. Was it Doom like inside the computer?
Yeah, there's even like computer challenges that put you into like another 2D space where you control characters. This is where I got stuck. I didn't realize that you had to open this door. I thought it was like locked, but it turned out I was opening it the wrong way. Oh, Freeman's Locker. Obviously someone's a shout out to Half-Life here. It is very much like a weird horror love letter to boomer shooters in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you put your hand in this machine and it cuts off one of your fingers, and I'm like, well, what's going on? This is your gun, Tony. So you actually shoot blood from your finger to destroy enemies in this like weird liminal computer horror VR game? I don't know, there's not a lot I can think that's like this game. It is very unique. It was pretty fun as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's really fucking weird.
I'm not sure how I feel about the blood and gun.
I thought that was a really I thought it was a really interesting way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that you got like the body horror, like you're losing a finger for sure. Yeah, I understand that.
But yeah, then you go into these sections where I'm controlling a character on like a 2D plane while I'm inside the computer at the same time. It's very much, I don't know, almost like a Daniel Mullins game where it's like you're inside a haunted computer sort of thing. Which I think is very interesting.
The blue screen of death pulled you into the computer.
Yeah.
Okay. It's haunted.
But yeah.
So you're controlling it with the joysticks then?
Yeah. Yeah. I am looking at it, but again, I'm only recording one of my eyes right now.
Yeah.
Avoiding these. But I just kept exploring, and yeah, eventually I came into a room with a boss, and then that's where the demo ended. I think this full game is available right now. But according to because this game came out in November, so it's only been out a month, and the game has 5 reviews. So I don't know how many people have actually played this, but I've seen people say that it was pretty good.
Okay.
But yeah, this one could be like, because I don't know how long the actual game is. Because the demo ends after, like, I would say, like, the first level. But
Yeah, no,
I
okay.
think there's potential with this one. I think it could be like a hidden gem almost. This one, it has such like a weird premise and gameplay and aesthetic that I think if there's like a few more levels of this, I think it would be very interesting to see what's going on. You know, with
Yeah,
this
yeah.
constant like uneasy feeling of being watched.
Yeah,
And it looks like it
the
changes from
creepy
this
factor
atmosphere.
is
If you go to the store page, it looks like like the world changes to like you being
okay.
inside more of like a 2D cartoony environment, and then there's an image that almost looks like you're straight up on a rail from Half-Life 1, and I'm like, there's something interesting
Interesting.
going on with this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something to really
Because the
keep an eye on.
creepy feeling is definitely on point. So
Yeah, I was playing this late at night by myself, so I got the creepy feeling, yeah. But yeah, if you're interested in checking this one out, Liminal Phase is available on Steam. I think it's about £8 or something, so it's not super expensive. But yeah, those were
that's pretty good.
those were all of the demos I played for Steam VR Demo Fest, and I thought there were some pretty good ones this time.
Yeah, yeah,
There was quite a
yeah.
few where I was like, oh, I'm actually interested in playing those, like Liminal Phase and Drum Rock. But there'll be links to all of the games if you're interested in them. But yeah, what did you think was the coolest? Was it the drumming game? Was
I
it the
enjoy the game is really cool, but I don't know. I think this one is very interesting. Pin City is
Pin City's #1, right?
good start, a good start. I'll say that, and then I think it needs a lot more to like polish and interest added to it. I think. Yeah, no, yeah, this one I like the creepy. I like creepy stuff anyway, but yeah, it's actually like kind of interesting concept.
All right, yeah. And that was. Oh, Tony, they didn't host the Steam VR Fest in the middle of summer this time. They actually did it in the
No,
winter time, which I'm very thankful
yeah,
for.
thank God. More of that, please.
But we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.